Michael Ivanov. I am so glad that you're taking some time to view our educational video regarding the final group project I worked on with Kelsey Walls and Derek Freeland for our class on women and gender in science and technology. In this video, I'm going to explain our original project proposal, how we went about implementing it, and how our research and publications are connected to social action and change. I am also going to highlight some of our findings, in addition to several interesting research conclusions. Our group was interested in promoting and initiating a community-based intervention effort to increase awareness of the issues and challenges surrounding the public's current perception of reproductive technologies, contraception, and the politics of motherhood. We collaborated and implemented the aforementioned intervention effort through the creation and publication of a comprehensive blog/zine, using various online distribution efforts to attract the public's attention towards our issue. Furthermore, we also asked for, compiled, and reported on the public's opinion and thoughts regarding our specific publication to create real-time analysis of the general public's current views on and interpretations of the topic of contraception. I have attached links to our current Google website, our group's Google website, and also to the blog if you want to open those and follow along as I am discussing the specific questions of interest that we decided to address for this particular project. So let's discuss these questions, and these questions are also located under the intervention ideas section of the Google website at the bottom. So the first question was, what is the public's current stance on the issues surrounding reproductive technologies, contraception, and the politics of motherhood? The second question we were interested in was, what are some of the current laws and statutes dealing with or related to these issues, and how do these laws affect women's abilities to interact and grow in the scientific and engineering communities? And the last question we wanted to address was, what do previous publications highlight and discuss when referring to these issues, and what are the most effective ways to promote and educate the public about these issues? Again, this is all this information is found under the intervention ideas section on the left panel of the Google webpage. You can also read about our implementation plan also on the left panel as well of the Google webpage. And now we're going to transition to the blog. So if you want to open that, the link is at the top. So first we're going to discuss the piece written by Derek Freeland, titled Conversations with Women in Science. So Derek interviewed a woman who's currently working in the science field and learned a good deal about the complexity and bias in her field of research. Our interview subject reported that there was indeed great gender bias, but that it was much more covert and was expressed largely through favoritism, time given during lab meetings, peer support, and referrals to the funding and other opportunities that males usually experience. Furthermore, our interview subject suggested that university departments and other research organizations do much more to ensure that men are on the selection panels, planning committees, and are included during speaking events than they do for women. She also noted that that doing the opposite of that would be a major aid in eliminating gender bias in the STEM career fields. Derek notes in his piece that in many ways the experience of our interview subject mirrored the experience of Evelyn Hammonds and other women studied in this course. Hammonds, much like our interview subject, also took advantages of extracurricular study and work experiences. She worked in a summer program at Bell Laboratories, the summer research programs for women minorities. Hammond also experienced a lack of peer support from teachers and fellow students in her program. Like our interview subject, Hammond did not always receive sufficient support from her academic advisor, who suggested a number of times that she step backwards in her progress towards becoming a serious and highly regarded scientist. Lastly, our interview subject does not support the Hobby Lobby decision made by the Supreme Court and the highlighted fact that most women, or 58% of users according to our interview subject, use oral contraceptives for non-contraceptive purposes such as pain management and hormonal imbalances. She was encouraged though by the Obama administration's decision to bypass and allow insurance companies to provide contraception to women directly. In conclusion, Derek's interview focused on comprehensive gender bias in research practices and development as they relate to the work and personal experience of a highly regarded scientist in the scientific field. Now we're going to transition to Kelsey's article titled Change in Controversy, a retrospective of birth control. Kelsey actually had to discuss the overall historical transition in the legal and public interpretation of and relation with contraceptive technologies. She also addressed in her piece or article the distinction between the term abstinence-only sexual education and comprehensive sexual education. She discussed the pros and cons of both of these education types, and she mentioned that a whopping 38% of public schools in this nation actually follow the abstinence-only education model, which is not very good according to most research papers on the topic. She also, in her article, Kelsey also notes several Supreme Court cases and their relative consequences. She mentions Roe v. Wade and, of course, the famous and recent Hobby Lobby decision by the Supreme Court. She also discusses the predominant contraception types and the medical concerns underlying these treatments. And, in conclusion, her article focuses on the general historic context and the moral and ethical challenges related to the contraceptive technologies we experience today. In my article, titled Controversy in Contraception, I focused on a relatively recent and revived wave of highly publicized and politically charged cases focusing mainly on the issues concerning women's rights, contraception, and reproductive health, and how these newly developed and recent cases have focused America's interest on the vastly neglected topics that many feminists and human rights activists commonly highlight during their attempts to equalize and improve our society. More specifically, I focused on the Burwell v. Hobby Lobby Supreme Court decision, which Kelsey also discussed in her article, but I went a little bit further to actually discuss the legal implementation and implications of this decision. I also, in my discussion of the Burwell v. Hobby Lobby case, I also discussed the Religious Freedom Restoration Act of 1993, which made the decision possible in that particular case. And, of course, I discussed the famous Roe v. Wade and the Griswold v. Connecticut cases, where the Supreme Court had actually ruled in favor of the notion that the U.S. Constitution protected the rights of individuals to use any approved medical treatment to prevent conception in privacy. I concluded my article with a discussion covering the general and long-term implications of the Supreme Court's recent negative ruling on cases related to contraception usage in the United States and the distribution, and how these decisions will create vast and permeating challenges to the current efforts to promote women's reproductive health, social freedom, and women's development in STEM fields as well. Overall, our main goal is to promote and highlight social action and responsible change by educating women and men alike about the current legal and social environment surrounding contraception and the politics of motherhood, and by collecting significant, comprehensive, and interactive data from viewers and readers related to further analyze and disseminate the public's current view on contraception issues and their effect on women in general and women in STEM career fields as well. On this slide, you can see additional information we have provided for you on our blog. There is another article called RISUG Male Contraceptive, written by Derek. It's a short piece that you can read about vasectomy. Also, there is, on the left panel of the blog, there is a quick survey, or actually 3 of them currently, that you could take, and they highlight some of the main ideas and issues that we address in our articles, and they're also for information purposes and analysis purposes. We will actually analyze the results and later publish an article or a piece on our blog discussing the results and how and what implication these results actually have in terms of the public's interpretation of these issues actually affect our laws and our society in general. Also, as you can see in the center of this slide, we've also provided a beautiful and wonderful visual of the history of the pill and contraception in general. Kelsey actually produced this. Thank you so much. It looks beautiful, and it just generally outlines the history of the pill all the way from ancient times. I believe the earliest is 1500 BC, all the way to 2010. This timeline does not include the Burwell v. Hobby Lobby ruling or any of the current rulings that we're experiencing right now. However, these decisions and many more topics are covered in our pieces that are also provided on the blog. So I hope you guys can enjoy this. Please participate in the surveys. Again, they're on the left panel of the blog. Read our articles, and I hope you enjoy everything. Thank you so much.